The Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station hung like a giant metal spider in the void, its long docking arms extended to catch broken ships that limped their way to safety. Through one of its observation windows, Mike Thompson watched the stars while wiping grease from his hands with an old rag. The repair station had started as a simple human outpost, but over the past 5 years, it had grown into something much more impressive. Multiple docking bays stretched out in every direction, each designed to accommodate vessels of various sizes and configurations. Mike had been the lead technician here for 3 years, earning a reputation for fixing things that others claimed couldn't be fixed. His workspace was a curious mix of advanced tools and what looked like primitive Earth equipment. Wrenches, hammers, and even duct tape lined the walls alongside plasma cutters and quantum alignment tools. "Boss, we got an incoming request," called Tom, his assistant, from the control panel. Well, you might want to see this yourself." Mike walked over, his magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The screen showed a massive vessel, easily 3 times the size of their largest bay. Its hull was covered in intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with internal energy. "That's a Raxon ship," Mike said, letting out a low whistle. The Raxon were known for their advanced technology and general disdain for other species' technical capabilities. "What are they doing here?" The communication channel crackled to life. A deep, resonating voice filled the control room. "Human repair station. This is the merchant vessel Star Weaver. We require immediate assistance. Our primary drive core is experiencing cascading failures." Mike exchanged looks with Tom. A Raxon drive core was one of the most complex pieces of machinery in known space. Most repair stations wouldn't even attempt to work on one. "Star Weaver, this is lead technician Mike Thompson. We'll need to conduct an initial assessment. Please proceed to docking bay 4. The massive ship approached slowly, its normally graceful movement hampered by whatever was wrong with its drive. As it drew closer, Mike could see scorch marks around its engine housing, never a good sign. The docking procedure took nearly an hour, even with the station's advanced guidance systems. When the ship was finally secured, Mike led his team of 5 technicians to the airlock. They carried their standard diagnostic equipment, along with what the aliens often called their primitive toolkit. The Raxon captain met them at the entrance, standing nearly 8 feet tall, with iridescent scales and multiple arms. He looked down at the human repair crew with obvious skepticism. "Your station was the closest," the captain said, his translator making the words sound clipped and harsh. "Though I must express doubt about your ability to address our problem. Our drive core uses principles your species has barely begun to grasp." Mike just smiled. He'd heard similar things before. "Mind if we take a look anyway? No charge for the inspection." The captain's scales shifted color slightly, a sign of resignation. Mike had learned. "Proceed, but do not touch anything without permission." The engine room was massive, filled with equipment that would have looked more at home in a modern art museum than a spacecraft. The drive core itself was a column of swirling energy contained within crystalline structures. Mike walked around the core slowly, his experienced eyes taking in every detail. He could see why the Raxon engineers were stumped. The problem wasn't with their advanced technology. It was something much more basic. "Found it," he said after 10 minutes. "You've got a mechanical resonance issue. The housing mounts have developed microfractures from stress. They're letting the core assembly vibrate at exactly the wrong frequency." The Raxon engineers chittered among themselves in their native language. The captain's scales turned a deep blue. "Impossible. Our sensors would have detected such a simple flaw." "Not if they were calibrated to look for energy fluctuations rather than mechanical stress," Mike replied. "We can fix this in about 6 hours. The technique is actually pretty old. We used something similar on Earth when dealing with skyscraper foundations." The captain's doubt was clear, but they had little choice. "Proceed. But know that if you damage our drive core, the consequences will be severe." Mike just nodded and turned to his team. Tom, get the sonic dampeners and the nano-seal compound. Pete, I need you to recalibrate the structural integrity field. And someone bring me my socket wrench set. The repair was about to begin, and Mike couldn't help but smile. Sometimes the most advanced problems needed the simplest solutions, and that was exactly where humans excelled. Mike's team worked methodically around the massive Raxon drive core, their movements precise despite the skeptical gazes of the alien engineers. The human repair crew had set up their equipment, a mix of advanced technology and what looked like toolbox basics from any Earth garage. These mounting brackets, Mike explained to Tom as they examined the crystalline structure, they're vibrating at just the wrong frequency. It's like an old car with bad shock absorbers, just on a much bigger scale. The Raxon captain loomed over them, his scales shifting between shades of blue and green. Our systems indicate the problem lies within the quantum matrix. Your primitive understanding off. A sudden surge from the core interrupted him, sending ripples of energy through the engine room. Warning lights flashed as the containment field fluctuated. There's your proof, Mike said calmly, pointing to the wave patterns displayed on his handheld scanner. See how the vibration peaks match the energy surges. Your quantum matrix is fine. It's the physical housing that's the problem. The captain's scales darkened, but he remained silent as Mike's team began their work. They started by attaching sonic dampeners around the core's base, using a pattern that Mike had once used to stabilize an old bridge back on Earth. Hand me the nano-seal compound, Mike called out to Pete. The specialized material, developed by humans for spacecraft repair, could fill microscopic cracks and harden to match the surrounding material's properties. The Raxon engineers watched in what appeared to be horror as Mike applied the compound using what looked like a common caulk gun. You're treating our advanced drive core like a leaking pipe, one of them protested. Sometimes the old ways work best, Mike replied, carefully sealing another crack. Your sensors are designed to detect energy fluctuations, but they miss these physical problems. It's like having a high-tech medical scanner that can't spot a simple cut. As they worked, Tom monitored the core's readings. Boss, the vibration patterns are already starting to stabilize. Whatever you're doing, it's working. The next phase was trickier. Mike had to adjust the structural integrity field while simultaneously reinforcing the physical mounting points. It was like performing a delicate ballet between the advanced alien technology and basic mechanical engineering. Now comes the interesting part, Mike announced, pulling out what looked like a simple wrench with some modifications. We need to realign the mounting brackets while maintaining the core's position. The captain's translator crackled. That is impossible without shutting down the core. The energy fields would. Mike interrupted by holding up a device that looked cobbled together from spare parts. This creates a localized field that lets us work through the energy barrier. We developed it after studying how space dock workers handle hot engines. The next hour was tense. Mike's team worked in perfect coordination, using their hybrid approach of high-tech solutions and basic mechanical skills. The Raxon engineers watched in silence as the humans essentially performed surgery on their precious drive core using tools that looked like they belonged in a previous century. Finally, Mike stepped back and checked his readings. That should do it. Try powering up to 20%. The captain gave orders in his native language. The drive core hummed to life, its energy patterns smooth and stable. No vibrations, no fluctuations. Impossible, one of the Raxon engineers muttered. The solution cannot be this simple. Increase to 50%, the captain ordered. The core's output rose smoothly with none of the previous problems. Full power, came the final command. The drive core blazed with energy, running more efficiently than it had in months. The Raxon engineers rushed to their instruments, chittering excitedly among themselves. The captain turned to Mike, his scales now showing bands of gold, a sign of respect. You have accomplished in 6 hours what our best engineers could not solve in weeks. How? Mike shrugged, already packing up his tools. Sometimes you need to step back from the complex stuff and look at the basics. Every problem has a solution. You just need to be willing to try the simple fix first. As the repair crew headed back to their station, Mike could hear the Raxon engineers already discussing what had happened. He knew that word of this repair would spread quickly through the alien networks. The humans had just proved that sometimes the best solutions didn't require the most advanced technology. They just needed the right combination of knowledge, creativity, and good old-fashioned mechanical know-how. 3 months after the Raxon incident, the Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station had transformed. What was once a quiet outpost now buzzed with constant activity. Ships of all shapes and sizes waited in holding patterns, their crews eager for human expertise. Mike stood in the main control room, watching the traffic display with a mix of pride and exhaustion. "How many do we have in crew now?" he asked Tom, who was juggling multiple communication channels. 17 ships waiting for repairs, Tom replied, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. "And that's just the priority cases. We've got another 32 scheduled for routine maintenance." The station had grown. New docking arms stretched out like metallic tentacles, and they'd added 3 new repair bays. Mike's team had expanded from 5 to 20 technicians, all trained in what was now being called the human approach to repairs. A massive vessel glided past the observation window, a Calgarian research ship with engine trouble. Behind it, a sleek Meridian courier vessel waited its turn, its crystalline hull reflecting starlight. "Remember when we get excited about seeing one alien ship a month?" Mike chuckled, checking the day's repair schedule. The station's comm system crackled. "Human repair station. This is trade vessel Light Seeker. Our quantum stabilizers are malfunctioning. Requesting emergency docking clearance." Before Tom could respond, 2 more distress calls came in. Each ship had different problems, different technologies, but they all wanted the same thing: human ingenuity. In Bay 3, Pete was teaching a junior technician how to repair a complex alien navigation system using modified Earth tools. "See, their diagnostic systems are too specialized," he explained. "They're looking for specific failures but missing the bigger picture. Sometimes you need to trust your eyes and ears more than the computers." The station's reputation had spread far beyond their local sector. Stories circulated about how humans could fix anything with primitive tools and creative thinking. Some alien crews even requested specific technicians by name. Mike walked through Bay 4, where his team was working on a Raxon mining vessel. The alien ship's computer core had been giving false readings, stumping its own technicians for weeks. The human solution: basically turning it off and on again, but with a carefully timed sequence that reset its quantum memory without losing critical data. "It's like they overthink everything," one of the newer technicians commented. "All these advanced species, they'd gotten so dependent on specialized tools and perfect conditions. They'd forgotten how to improvise." Mike nodded, remembering his grandfather's old workshop. "That's our advantage. Humans spent centuries fixing things with whatever we had on hand. We learned to understand the basics before we got to the complex stuff." The station's success had brought other changes too. Alien manufacturing companies were now sending representatives to study human repair techniques. Some had even started incorporating human-inspired designs into their products. In Bay 7, a group of alien engineers watched in fascination as Lisa, one of Mike's best technicians, repaired a plasma conduit using a modified pipe wrench and some heat-resistant tape. "But the specifications require a quantum-aligned spanner for that procedure," one of them protested. Lisa smiled as she finished the repair. "Sure, that's one way to do it. But this way is faster, cheaper, and the repair will actually last longer." The station's reputation grew with each successful repair. Ships would divert their routes by hundreds of light years just to have humans work on their systems. What the aliens saw as primitive methods were proving more effective than their advanced techniques. Mike made his way back to the control room, passing workshops where human tools sat alongside alien technology. The combination of both had created something unique, repair techniques that neither humans nor aliens could have developed alone. "New request coming in," Tom called out. Well, this is interesting. A Raxon battlecruiser. They're asking for you specifically, boss." Mike grinned. "Looks like we made quite an impression with that drive core repair. All right, let's see what they've got for us this time." As he looked out at the fleet of waiting ships, Mike realized that humanity had found its niche in the galactic community. They weren't the most advanced species, but they understood something the others had forgotten. Sometimes the simplest solution was the best one. The emergency alert blared through Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station, its harsh tone cutting through the normal hum of activity. Mike rushed to the control room, where Tom was already coordinating with incoming traffic. "What's the situation?" Mike asked, quickly scanning the emergency displays. "Galactic Peace Force warship Thunderstrike incoming," Tom replied, his voice tense. "Multiple system failures. They've got a cascade reaction building in their weapons core." The main screen showed the approaching vessel, a massive warship bristling with advanced technology. Damage was visible along its hull, and energy readings showed dangerous fluctuations. "Clear all other ships from the approach vector," Mike ordered, "and get our best teams to Bay 1. This is going to be tricky." The warship limped toward the station, trailing particles of exotic energy. Representatives from 6 different alien species had gathered in the observation deck, their attention fixed on the unfolding drama. "If that weapons core goes critical," one of them muttered, "it'll take out half the station." The ship's commander, a tall figure in an ornate uniform, appeared on the main screen. "Human repair station. We have 18 minutes before total system failure. Our engineers are unable to contain the situation." Mike studied the readings. The problem was complex. The weapons core was linked to multiple systems, each affecting the others in a deadly chain reaction. Most repair stations wouldn't even attempt such a dangerous fix. "Get me a direct link to their engine room," Mike said, already heading toward the docking bay. His team followed, carrying both high-tech equipment and their trademark basic tools. The docking procedure was nerve-wracking. The warship's unstable energy emissions made it dangerous to approach, but they managed to secure it with less than 15 minutes remaining. Inside the ship, chaos reigned. Alien crew members rushed through corridors as warning lights flashed. The ship's engineers, among the most respected in the galaxy, stood helplessly before displays showing cascading failures. Mike took one look at the weapons core and understood why their advanced solutions had failed. The problem wasn't in the exotic technology. It was in the basic power distribution system. "It's like a circuit breaker that's stuck between positions," he explained to his team. "All their fancy safeguards are actually making things worse. We need to force a reset, but do it in exactly the right sequence." The alien engineers watched in disbelief as Mike's team began what looked like a dangerously simple approach. They bypassed complex safety systems using manual overrides, essentially treating the advanced weapons core like an oversized fuse box. "This is madness," the ship's chief engineer protested. "The containment protocols require." A surge of energy interrupted him, sending sparks flying from nearby panels. 10 minutes remained. "Trust me," Mike said, already deep in the ship's systems. "Tom, give me that modified breaker bar. Pete, stand by with the emergency coolant. Lisa, keep an eye on those power levels." What followed was a masterclass in human ingenuity. Mike's team worked with practiced precision, using their unique combination of advanced knowledge and basic mechanical skills. They treated the complex alien technology like an old car engine, identifying the root cause rather than just responding to symptoms. 7 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes. The ship's warning sirens suddenly fell silent. The dangerous energy readings began to stabilize. Mike's team had managed to force a complete system reset while maintaining just enough power to prevent catastrophic failure. The ship's commander stared at the readings in disbelief. "How did you?" "Sometimes you need to step back from the complex solutions," Mike explained, wiping sweat from his forehead. Your safety systems were fighting each other. We just helped them start working together again. The observing aliens broke into excited discussions. They had just witnessed humans solve a problem that had stumped the galaxy's finest engineers, using methods that seemed impossibly simple. As Mike's team packed up their tools, he could hear the aliens already spreading the word through their communication channels. The story of how humans saved a Peace Force warship using primitive techniques would only add to their growing reputation. Just another day at the office, Mike said to his team, but he couldn't help smiling. They had proven once again that human creativity and basic understanding could overcome even the most advanced technological challenges. In the aftermath of the Peace Force warship incident, Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from 12 advanced civilizations had assembled in the station's main conference room, all seeking to understand the secret behind human repair techniques. Mike stood before the diverse audience, feeling slightly uncomfortable in his formal uniform rather than his usual work clothes. Behind him, a holographic display showed various repair methods his team had developed. The key isn't in having the most advanced tools, Mike explained, gesturing to a workbench where Earth-made wrenches sat beside alien quantum scanners. It's about understanding the basics of how things work, regardless of the technology level. An alien delegate raised one of their appendages. But how do humans achieve such results with primitive equipment? Mike picked up an old wrench from the workbench. This isn't primitive. It's fundamental. Humans spent centuries learning to fix things with limited resources. We had to understand the principles behind how things work because we couldn't always rely on automated systems. The display shifted to show footage of various repairs performed at the station. In one scene, Lisa used a modified card jack to realign a crashed ship's hull. In another, Pete fixed a quantum communication array using what looked like ordinary copper wire and electrical tape. Look at Earth's history, Mike continued. We fixed steam engines with hammers and wrenches. We repaired cars in our garages with basic tools. When our first satellites malfunctioned, we had to improvise solutions with whatever we had available. The aliens watched intently as Mike demonstrated how human repair techniques often bypassed complex diagnostic systems in favor of direct mechanical solutions. Your species builds incredible technology, he said, but you've become so dependent on specialized tools that you've lost touch with the fundamental principles. When something breaks in an unexpected way, your automated systems can't adapt. To prove his point, Mike took apart a malfunctioning alien power converter using Earth tools. The alien engineers in the audience shifted uncomfortably as he ignored their standard repair protocols. See this connection here? He pointed to a seemingly perfect joint. Your scanners say it's fine because they're checking the quantum signature. But if you just look at it, touch it, you can feel the misalignment. Sometimes the simplest approach is the most effective. A Raxon engineer spoke up, but our systems are designed to be maintained only with precise, specialized equipment. Mike smiled. That's exactly the problem. You've designed technology that can only be fixed one way. Humans learned to be adaptable because we had to be. When something breaks and you don't have the right tool, you learn to improvise. The display showed more examples. Human technicians combining alien technology with Earth-based solutions, creating hybrid repair techniques that were more effective than either approach alone. It's not about being primitive or advanced, Mike explained. It's about understanding the principles behind how things work. Once you understand that, you can fix almost anything with almost any tool. The aliens began to discuss among themselves, their various translators creating a buzz of overlapping languages. Mike could see the moment they started to understand. Humans weren't succeeding despite their primitive methods, but because of their fundamental approach to problem solving. One of the alien delegates, a being of pure energy contained in a mechanical shell, moved forward. We have been approaching repairs from the wrong perspective. We sought to make our technology more advanced, more automated. But in doing so, we lost the ability to truly understand it. Mike nodded. That's why ships come to us now. We don't just fix the immediate problem. We understand why it happened and how to prevent it from happening again. The conference concluded with something unprecedented. Several advanced civilizations requesting that their engineers be trained in human repair techniques. They wanted to learn not just the methods, but the way of thinking that made humans such effective problem solvers. As the delegates filed out, Tom approached Mike. "Boss, you just changed how the galaxy thinks about repairs." Mike picked up his trusty toolbox. "Maybe. But right now, we've got a Meridian freighter in Bay 3 with a busted gravity drive. Let's show these observers how humans really fix things." The human approach to repairs wasn't just about fixing machines. It was about understanding them, adapting to problems, and never being afraid to try something new. It was a lesson the galaxy was finally ready to learn. The Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station had become more than just a repair facility. It was now the galaxy's leading center for repair innovation. Mike stood in the newly constructed training bay, watching as human technicians worked alongside alien engineers, each learning from the other. "Watch how the power fluctuates through this circuit," Mike demonstrated to a group of mixed species. He had connected an Earth-made oscilloscope to an alien quantum drive. "You don't need a quantum analyzer to see the problem. The basic wave patterns tell us everything." The station had grown again, adding dedicated research and development sections. In one bay, human engineers were redesigning alien tools to be more versatile. In another, alien scientists were helping adapt their advanced technology to work with human repair methods. "The breakthrough came when we stopped trying to make perfect tools," Mike explained to a visiting delegation. "Instead, we focused on making adaptable ones." He held up what looked like a simple wrench, but it could adjust its molecular structure to fit any fastener in known space. Tom rushed into the training bay, excitement clear on his face. "Mike, the Galactic Engineering Council just approved our new repair protocols. They're making them the standard for all deep space repair stations." This was huge news. The protocols, developed by Mike's team, combined human ingenuity with alien technology in ways nobody had thought possible before. They emphasized understanding basic principles before attempting complex repairs. "Remember how we fixed that Raxon drive core?" Mike asked his students. "We've taken that same principle and applied it across all systems. Every piece of technology, no matter how advanced, still operates on fundamental physical laws." In the main repair bay, Lisa was teaching a group of alien engineers how to diagnose problems using their senses rather than relying solely on instruments. "Feel that vibration?" she asked, placing their appendages on a hull plate. "That tells you more than any scanner could." The station had developed new tools too, hybrid devices that combined the best of human and alien technology. Pete demonstrated one to an amazed audience, a simple-looking diagnostic tool that could interface with any known technology while remaining simple enough for manual repairs. The key innovation wasn't in making things more complex, Mike told the documentary crew that was recording the station's achievements. It was in making advanced technology more accessible and repairable. Their biggest success came in the form of universal repair interfaces. Human engineers had designed systems that could adapt to any technology, allowing repairs to be made with basic tools when necessary. "Look at this," Mike said, showing off their latest innovation. It was a repair kit that looked deceptively simple, but could handle 90% of common space repairs across all known technologies. "We've made it so anyone can make basic repairs, anywhere in space." The station's research division had grown too. They weren't just fixing things anymore. They were redesigning them to be more reliable and easier to repair. Many alien manufacturers had started incorporating these principles into their new designs. "Your species has revolutionized how we think about technology," a Raxon engineer admitted. "We always thought advancement meant making things more complex. You showed us that true advancement lies in making things more understandable." The training programs had become legendary. Engineers from across the galaxy competed for spots in the human-led courses. They learned not just repair techniques, but a whole new way of thinking about technology. Today's graduation ceremony marks another milestone. Mike announced to the latest class of certified repair technicians, "You're not just engineers anymore. You're problem solvers who can handle any situation with whatever tools are available." As he watched the mixed group of humans and aliens receive their certifications, Mike reflected on how far they'd come. What had started as a simple repair station had evolved into something that was changing the galaxy's entire approach to technology. "Next week we start testing the new universal diagnostic system," Tom reminded him. Mike nodded, already thinking about the possibilities. The station had proven that the best innovations often came from combining different approaches, the precision of alien technology with the adaptability of human engineering. The future of repairs in space would be neither purely human nor purely alien, but something new and better, a perfect blend of both worlds' strengths. 5 years after the first Raxon repair, the Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station had become a legend throughout the galaxy. Ships of all kinds made regular detours to visit what was now commonly called the human fix. Mike stood at his favorite observation window, watching the constant stream of traffic. The repair station had grown into a sprawling complex that looked like a small city in space, with dozens of repair bays working around the clock. Another diplomatic vessel just requested priority docking, Tom reported, now managing a whole team of traffic controllers. They said they'd rather wait here than get repairs anywhere else. The station had become more than just a repair facility. It was a symbol of humanity's unique contribution to galactic society. Ships would travel extra light years just to get their maintenance done by human technicians. "Remember our first alien customer?" Mike asked Tom as they walked through the main concourse. "Now we got species we'd never even heard of showing up because they heard about us from someone else." The station's success had brought unexpected benefits to Earth. Trade agreements, technological exchanges, and diplomatic relationships had all improved thanks to humanity's reputation for fixing the unfixable. In Training Bay 12, Mike watched as his newest batch of students, a mix of humans and aliens, worked on a complicated repair simulation. "The technology doesn't matter," he told them. "The principles stay the same. Understand the basics, and you can fix anything." A group of alien tourists watched from an observation deck as human technicians worked. What had once seemed primitive to them now looked like an art form. The way humans combined basic tools with advanced technology to solve complex problems. "It's not just about repairs anymore," Mike explained to a galactic news crew. "We're teaching a whole new way of thinking about technology. Every ship that leaves here spreads that knowledge further." The station had developed its own culture, a unique blend of human practicality and alien precision. In the recreation areas, different species mingled freely, sharing stories about impossible repairs and creative solutions. "Your station has become essential to galactic commerce," a Meridian trade official told Mike during an inspection. "Ships feel safer knowing they can find human repair stations along their routes." The success had led to the establishment of similar stations throughout human space, each following the principles developed at Sol 3. Earth's repair certification had become one of the most respected credentials in the galaxy. Mike walked through the apprentice workshop, where young technicians from dozens of species learned side by side. They worked on everything from simple mechanical repairs to complex quantum systems, all using the human approach. "The best part," he told a new group of trainees, "is that we're still learning too. Every new ship brings new challenges, new technologies to understand, and we keep finding simpler ways to fix complex problems." The station's research division had grown enormously. They weren't just repairing technology anymore. They were improving it, making it more reliable and easier to maintain. Many alien manufacturers now sent their prototypes to be tested and refined by human engineers. "Look at this," Mike said, showing off their latest innovation to a visiting delegation. It was a universal repair kit, compact enough to fit in a small case, but capable of fixing 95% of common space emergencies. "We've made it so anyone can make basic repairs, anywhere in space." The station's success had changed humanity's place in the galaxy. They weren't the most advanced species, but they had become the most trusted when things went wrong. Ships would divert hundreds of light years just to reach a human repair station. As Mike finished his daily rounds, he passed the station's main entrance where a new sign had been installed. In multiple languages, it read, "Welcome to Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station, where everything can be fixed." "Got a message from the Galactic Council," Tom called out. "They want to establish more human repair stations in neutral space. They're calling us an essential service for galactic stability." Mike smiled, remembering how it all started with one broken Raxon drive core. Now, human repair stations were becoming as common as fuel stops along major trade routes. "You know what's funny?" he said to Tom. "We never set out to change the galaxy. We just did what humans have always done. We fixed things that needed fixing." The Sol 3 Deep Space Repair Station had become more than just a repair facility. It was proof that sometimes the simplest solutions were the best, and that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in building the most advanced technology, but in understanding how to keep it all working.